Hey, good morning. It's 8:40 a.m. It is July 18th. Happy Thursday. You got one more day of this week. So make the best of today, right? I always liked working on Thursdays. I always thought that was a good day. At least I tried to make it a good day. But anyway, so I decided to come on here because I've been getting a lot of downloads. Like I said, I'll go to bed feeling one way and I'll wake up, feeling completely different. And the reason why is because, during the dream state, you're picking up on more, your mind's more relaxed. And, I have so many messages coming through me. And sometimes it gets very difficult for me to communicate that verbally because as I'm speaking, I'll think about something else and then that kind of oversteps what I was already talking about because I get so much information being psychic and intuitive. And sometimes, I have to take some time to shut it down because, it's obviously something that can affect someone's concentration. But I know that, I think it was a day yesterday, I had made a video talking about my issues relating to, the smear campaigns, what I'm going to call it, the ridiculous smear campaigns through the religious indoctrinations. And, I think it's unfortunate that that I would be a target of a religious smear campaign, but it was all based on issues relating to a past life, right? Now, in my past life, as C.B. Berganza, obviously the occult was something very important to me, and I enjoyed sharing my knowledge with people so much that this is what I made out of my profession. Why do I do this? Because I understand that it brings life, meaning it changes the mundane. It helps people. Okay. And do I believe that these gifts that are placed here on the earth are meant for mankind to enjoy in some way, whether that's tapping into their magic energies, or it's something simple like you might find a rock that's very beautiful and you might keep it as a paperweight, but when you hold that rock, for some reason, it just makes you feel good, right? These things are giving you relief from hell. These things help and give you some sort of um, meaning, you know, in life. That is not in any way saying I'm telling people to replace their religion or their religious affiliations. You know what I mean? The occult, like I said, has been in existence before religion. Religion has always replaced the occult and added in certain elements of the occult. Okay, like a lot of times people look at certain symbols, that image of the cross, right? You'll notice sometimes if you look at some depictions of the cross, right, you'll see little sunbeams coming out of it, right? Because that is actually acknowledging a time when people actually associated worship with the sun. And I'm talking about the sun, not the son. Okay. So I'm just saying that using certain things in life, like I did a video on everyday alchemy, to pep you up, to keep you going, to give you something to live for. Now, I know it seems small, but like I said, not everybody has the ability to focus, meditate in a way where they can draw in energy to attract things. You know what I mean? And I must have been somebody who really felt like, that there was an enjoyment in life that people needed to have access to because obviously I felt as though it did a lot of good for me. Unfortunately, this is the health system that we live in. For every good thing you deal with, you got to deal with the bad. Okay, and so if you do anything that you come off as being somebody who's successful in some way to people, the bad part about that is you're going to make enemies. Okay, and some of my enemies, obviously came back for me in this life. Okay, mind you, the only thing I cared about in my soul, for my soul purpose, okay, was to carry on my teaching, carry on my providing instruction, carrying on healing for people, and making it a living. You know what I mean? And that's it. I didn't come back with an agenda for world domination. I didn't come back with an agenda to seek revenge on my captors. Okay, now mind you, do I have every right to do something like that on a moral and even spiritual level? I would think I do. Okay, but that has not, and nor has it, even once I have found out what this issue is about. Am I sitting here fixated on trying to figure out how I can win the game of, trying to be, what do you call it? I want to be in their position. No, I never said I wanted to be in a position like that, ever. You know what I mean? All my life, I just basically focused on the enjoyment of my spirituality. That's it. And I saw the benefit, and I chose to want to associate with people who also enjoyed the spirituality. And I think one of the things that C.B. Berganza uh, connected with, okay, because he was basically a nomad. By the time he was 7 years old, he was in England. He was in an environment that was not his own, that was probably rejecting him. But that didn't mean that he didn't take on some of the things that he learned. Obviously, he learned the English language from British people. So therefore, he must have had an accent. And he also must have been somewhat cultured or developed in the English ways. Okay, this is one of the reasons why when I was a kid, I'd sit at the dinner table and look at my family with fucking disgust, trying to figure out why are they eating like such pigs? Why? Because somewhere in my memory that carried over from a past life, I knew that that was improper. I knew that I was educated enough in England to understand the way to live better. Do you understand? So it comes out in this life. It's a form of me absorbing in what I learned.
It's knowledge being applied in the next life after. So, I have been struggling with this past life issue of people accusing me of wanting to be in an argument and squashing me because they feel as though this. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to that. This is some of a religious attention going on in this country, unfortunately, and this was all because of this issue that got created on social media, right? And the issue of people looking at me and thinking, oh, this is C.B. Braganza, and drawing a lot of attention to me. And while all of this was going on, I'm sitting here at my work getting mobbed and figuring out or trying to think, what the hell is going on, not understanding that people were already creating some sort of imaginary dialogue as to what I'm doing, what I'm up to, what I'm plotting, just ridiculous stuff. And all I'm trying to do is hang on to my job so that I can have a normal life, or what I perceive to be as normal. Okay, basically, I am living a life that is a result of my abuse. Okay, so when people say, "Oh, Maria, you're so standoffish," you know why I'm standoffish? Because I've always been in setups where I'm dealing with perpetrators, and the perpetrators, their main goal is to try to somehow upset me, cause me problems. Remember, this is the purpose of the experiment. So why do you think that I would want to be in a social scene with these people? So after a while, you start realizing that people start acting weird when you come around because they have been programmed to do so. So then guess what? Because it's always a circular issue with these people, then you get looked at, people are calling you, or they accuse you of, you're being standoffish when, you're not even trying to, you don't even know what the fuck's going on. You have no idea. You know what I mean? So now that I understand, what's going on,
And I think it's unfortunate that all this big Purdue got started, and people that all this happened. You know what I mean? And people went out of their way to act on something based on impulse. Okay, impulse, and what they created to me was something very serious because it affected the American people and put them in a situation where they feel very tense and very uncomfortable because they feel like they're walking on eggshells, all because of
someone not demonstrating social responsibility. Okay? Uh, as a person who is in a position of power, and please, I say this with all due respect, okay? I understand that there is a worldly system that is set up and it's meant to, I guess, rule the people, right? And sometimes people do things that are quite autocratic, maybe for their own source of entertainment. Okay, and then also we're talking about issues relating to political beliefs that are debatable. Okay, they're debatable. And they're obviously something that I feel is very close to white nationalism, based on just the situation and how I've experienced it and everything I've acknowledged. And of course, it was always assumed that I had some sort of agenda, like I was some Black Power movement person and I was going to be doing this. And like I said, all I thought about was, okay, I need to make a living and keep a roof over my head. I need to stand on my feet. There has been so much drama created starting at that point in 2000. I mean, it's always been there. Like, I've been involved in school and all this other stuff. But from this point, starting over at organized sports in Chatsworth, and then going over to where it got explosive over at Murray Family Farms, all I have seen was just bizarre stuff that were acted out in front of me, to where I ended up having to put all of this stuff together. And all I can think of is like, wow, like, I didn't ask for the spotlight to be on me. Since the spotlight has been intensely focused on me, okay, whether that be through like workplace surveillance or whatever, okay, these are the intuitive messages that I've been getting. And mind you, I don't pay attention to really what goes on in the world, but every once in a while, I'll notice like a newsreel that pops on my thing that's kind of reflecting certain things that are going on, this correlation, okay? I didn't ask to create this, okay? But because people were overly focused on me, they started studying my life pattern, okay? And because I guess some of these people are maybe thinking that because I chose not to get married, and I am like, they're basically saying that, that marriage is on the decline, and so is Christianity, and whatever. That's not my fault, okay? None of this is my fault. Okay, the reason why I ended up getting divorced and not remarrying is obviously because I got divorced because of the setup. Okay, the setup, because I started realizing my employment was being manipulated, and because of the situation being so bizarre and racially charged over at Murray Family Farms, and for people to retaliate against me for something that I didn't do nor start, right? I understood that, this is a very sick, pathological type mentality that I was dealing with. So when I found out that my husband could have been manipulating my job, then him being white, and then his mother saying certain things, I realized that something is very strange here. Okay, and also I understand that at some point I realized that he was in an incestuous relationship. Now I understand that some people don't have an issue with that. It's a personal issue. Let's just say it's not my preference, and because it's not my preference and something I'm comfortable with, I was shocked and disturbed by it. So I had to sit here and figure out what I was going to do. I have always been somebody who has been focused on my survival. Okay, I recognize men having control over women's career and that sort of thing as a form of abuse. Okay, now I know it took a very long time for people to understand what I was talking about, and the reason why they had a hard time understanding what I was talking about is because they felt as though that they could try to discredit me because I didn't have a 4-year degree. That is the most absurd thing in the world. But when people are miserable, when you are of the discontented, you are grasping for straws to believe in something because you'd rather believe that than believe that you are a racist. Okay? To come out and say it and focus it, know it, and to internalize it, accept it, whatever. Okay? So, I have suffered greatly in this issue. And because I understand what white supremacy is. Okay? But I was still treated as if I was somehow going to rise up and try to attack white people when that was the further thing from the truth. Now,
Some people think that I, what do you call it? Yeah, like they thought that I was like somebody who was highly into, you know, black supremacy. I had been, falsely accused out of the blue, nowhere, at work, by people in a roundabout way, and you deal with all kinds of ridiculous forms of racism, and all you're trying to do, the only thing you're trying to do is you're trying to pay your bills. That's it. That's the only reason why you're at that job. At least that is in your mind. But see, when you're dealing with racism, they think you're making a statement. They think you're trying to prove something. It's like, wow, yeah, this really threw me for a loop. You know what I mean? And the battle that I had been thrown in, if you've been following my channel for the longest time, you'll see that I'm going to tell you, when I first started this channel in 2015, I was at starting point trying to figure it all out, and like I said, it just got weirder and weirder and weirder to me. Okay. And like I said, me being an occultist, okay, somebody who's known for being weird or whatever, this was weird to me. Okay. So, and it comes as a shock to people because this is a very spiritual issue. It's a very spiritual issue because what was the issue that was raised on the wide scale with the people that were involved in it, um, you know, things like this can work through people, okay? And the issue, uh, I think a lot of people can look at this issue and they can pretty much decide for themselves, you know what I mean, how this ended up turning out. And I'm shocked, you know what I mean? But do I believe that it was definitely a divine issue, okay? I uh, am been thinking a lot, about this Swan Song Manifesto, and I have lost a lot of trust um, in people. Okay, I've lost trust in the system because of the corruption. Just using the example of what happened to me in the workplace alone. Okay, just using that alone. As an example, that you never know what it is that you are dealing with, because these people came at me like heavily armed, meaning like they had all these sort of ideas of me trying to attack them, and like I said, all I was trying to do was pay my bills. Okay, but I was so they created a lot of confusion, and every time I try to step into something, try to do something, try to put a roof over my head, they do everything they can to prevent that from happening. So I'm not somebody who can just wake up and be on fire to create content when it's always a question like, okay, when are they going to strike again? When are they going to do this? When are they going to do that? And there's no sense in me putting any stress on myself to produce when, everything is just always up in the air. It's always up in the air. And every day of my life is questionable. You know what I mean? And I understand that. I wanted to kind of go back into a story a little situation that I experienced when I was in Chatsworth. I was talking to an employee who, she and I would go out for drinks every once in a while, okay? And she was, a born again Christian, and I had recognized in her that she had a lot of mental illness, okay? A lot of mental illness. And just by the things that she talked about, and she always wanted to convince me to, go to her church. And I remember she said, Maria, the Lord loves it when you're miserable. And I said, that is the most sick thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I knew that that was her sad way of having to cope. It was her way of trying to convince herself that her misery was somehow righteous because she felt trapped and she was trying to look for some sort of excuse to deal with it. Okay? She was not happy. And everything in her life, she was a walking example of unhappiness.
Okay. I knew that my sister Tanya, her life was miserable. Okay. Her life was utterly miserable. Okay. Because she, and I'm not saying that all people who practice Christianity are like this, but whatever. The case is that from what I saw, I looked at Christianity as a man-made institution that I didn't want anything to do with. And since I realized that I have rights in this country, I chose not to be a part of it. Okay, and I felt as though I gave it a decent chance. It was not in alignment with my spiritual views, so I didn't want it. And I simply walked away. I never protested it. I never told people they should not be Christian. The only thing the reason why I'm making these videos and talking about it now, because all that time when I was sitting here wondering why is it that I can't find a job, there was a war attack. There was a war raging in this country. And there was all kinds of deception and all kinds of lies and all kinds of propaganda created and directed towards me. And meanwhile, I'm scratching my head trying to figure out, oh, I don't understand why is it that people are turning against me? Why would it happen? What did I do? This was a hate crime, a huge hate crime. And I'm going to have a hard time recovering from it. I'm being realistic. You know what I mean? I'm being very realistic. The very fact that I can't feel safe enough to post my content, and I don't feel safe. I don't. I don't feel safe posting my content. I don't feel safe, with any of this situation. You know what I mean? And I think I saw that they went through like great lengths to cause me even future inconveniences. I briefly read over Project 2025, okay? I briefly read over it. I kept thinking, oh my gosh, this would be a complete and total flip around of everything in the Constitution. You know what I mean? But did I believe that that was purposely created to somehow attack me specifically? You know what? Yes, I do. I do believe that. Now, I'm going to step away from that subject for just a second. And, sit here and I'm thinking some people, a lot of women are not on their own because because they're trying to raise hell. And it has nothing to do with rebellion, and it has nothing to do with their devotion to deity, God, universal forces, or however you want to look at it. Okay, some people come from abuse and have no choice. And these people, the same people who created this whole circular argument, are the same people who are basically trying to trap me into something that I didn't deal with. Now, I decided to step away. Not saying I'm stepping away from the Swan Song Manifesto. I'm saying stepping away from feeling as though I need to do something urgently. If people have an issue and want to join the Swan Song Manifesto and I start seeing increase in it, then I'm gonna start picking up the pace and doing stuff. If I don't see anything in it, I cannot sit here and go month and month and month and month creating content, knowing that I'm purposely being blocked. Or there's some sort of propaganda, or there's some sort of agenda or whatever. I'm done. I'm done. You know what I mean? I feel as though, every day of my life I'm trying to make it the best I possibly can. And it's unfortunate that, I have to put up with things that like I literally would have never thought this. I would have probably would gone through. Let's just say, for example, I had a decent work environment, okay, and after Murray Family Farms, I would have moved on to another job and settled into my job, and nobody brought up bullshit, and I was just basically working and whatever, okay. Would I have been affected? I would have been affected basically because anytime you're dealing with workplace mobbing, you basically learn a lesson. You can't trust people. So I would have been like a little, of course, it's going to sit here and add to the fact that I'm going to be even more standoffish, but I would have eventually recovered. I would have had some of my issues, my phobias, I would have still carried that on. Okay. That's just the way it is. But would I be like, is like mentally messed up as I am now? Probably not. You know what I mean? Things would have been better for me had I just moved on from that situation. But it was the constant thing, you know what I mean, that caused so much. And like I said, all that time I was completely bewildered. Completely, I would have never known that I was Prince Alamehu. Never.
If I would have just moved on to like a regular job and went on with my life, I would have never known any of that. I would have even guessed. You know what I mean? It would never even occur to me. You know what I mean? I'm sure eventually somewhere down the road I would have done some sort of psychic readings and stuff. Maybe if I wanted to tap in, but I would still probably get something rather vague. I would probably have gotten something rather vague, like,
hey, I was born in Africa or whatever. I might have known a little bit more about my trade. I would have figured that out. But Prince Alamehu, you know what I mean? Most people don't. This was a spiritual thing for me to know. It was this whole situation was very spiritual. Okay, and the issue that was brought into it was an issue you don't want to play with. It is not. It's not a joke. You know what I mean? And the thing is, when spirit works through people, or when it's something the spirit feels as though it's time to bring an issue about, it might enter a person as a joke. Something that they just popped in their head. Hey, wouldn't it be funny to do this? Right? They think they're making a joke. They think they're being funny. Gathering people around, trying to highlight this person and shame this person. But no, that was the start of something that needed to happen, and it came inside you as a joke. Now, people get laughed at me all these years for being the spiritual person that I am. And they wanted to discredit me because I knew that I was a spiritual person. And they knew that I made a difference in things when it came to bringing spiritual light. I didn't know that that was a threatening thing in the United States of America. I never realized that. As a matter of fact, when you think about people who immigrated to this country, the reason why a lot of people immigrated to this country because that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. You know what I mean? That's just one of the things they wanted. Okay, and of course they wanted to take advantage of being able to set up and basically be free. Okay, but really to play a role in it. But then you're gonna flip the turn, flip things around and it's all stuff very strange. But see, this was all a game that was already planned out, devised, thinking, situated, whatever. And like I said, it left me bewildered, and freaked out. You know what I mean? Do I believe in, I believe in the application of our natural resources. I believe in that. You know what I mean? And that's it. I mean, I never said that people shouldn't, be Christian or whatever, but, whatever. I don't want to focus on that. It's not my problem. It's not my, I refuse to make that my war, but I will say that it's already an issue. It's an issue that has affected me, unfortunately. And, I think the rumor that was created about me, the past life thing, that was that was like a shocking form of brainwashing. I mean, like, can't people see that number one, you're talking about cloning? You're talking about, you're talking about somebody who has the ability to reincarnate, reincarnation. That's what you're talking about. And it's funny, I was thinking about, how deep that people brainwashing goes in this. You know what I mean? Because I understand, like, sometimes you have to silence people because they might know too much. And I must be one of those people. And unfortunately, the reason why I know too much is for shit that I didn't ask to know. But like I said, that's divine shit right there. That's divine divinity. Okay, the very fact that I'm engaged in something that I didn't want to be involved in, that's divinity. Okay, I mean, when you look at things like the Bible, where Jesus was talking, where they were talking about Jesus like walking through the crowd, that Jesus, on his earthly level, the fact that he was a man as he was here on the earth, his mind was thinking that he was thinking manly thoughts. He just wanted to be by himself. He was tired. He was drained, right? But he had people, running up behind him, wanting to just touch him. Okay, trying to draw and grab his little magical energy that he had, draining him. You know what I mean? Draining him. He felt drained, you know? But it's the same sort of situation, whether people are physically touching me or just talking about me or plotting against me. The whole situation is draining. But it's not something that I choose it to happen. I don't want it to happen. I wish I could just make my little money and just be on my own. I don't want to deal with people at all. You know what I mean? But unfortunately,
something needs to be brought to light. This is a spiritual issue that needs to be brought to light because people are being captive, held captive in the United States of America. And that's trippy. All because of an issue that got started that I wasn't even aware of. You know what I mean? So,
when it comes to the Swan Sun Manifesto, I feel as though, I'm tired. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that, the system is created with such paranoia, such, you know, I don't know, unnecessary bullying, because like I said, I would have never known.
And so anyway, the other messages that I got is that, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the message that I had read a few days ago about the aliens that were assisting with the clonings. They were specialists in what they did. Okay, but did I believe that the alien life were like the aliens that were in charge of the creation of mankind? Do I believe that they have proper instructions on how to give to tell mankind to how to construct, well, to instruct life on Earth? I did see that there was a lot of wisdom when it came to how the laws were written. Okay, like I said, some laws were written based on what had already happened, and they're like, we got to do something about this, and they create laws. And then there was a lot of foresighted people who were involved with the creations of each law. Laws are created from a lot of different resources or whatever, but once they book it, it's booked, and there's a reason why. And I believe in that. Okay, I believe in that. I believe in, and I trust the judgment. When I said I trust the judgment of why we have these particular laws, and that's laws from anything from harassment through human trafficking or sexual abuse or whatever, because they make sense. Now, they may not have been like embedded in the minds of most people, because we live in a very lawless society, okay, where people literally do not have any idea of the law. And maybe the law never even occurred to some people, and that's okay. And that's the problem. And see, I've never been a political person. I'm somebody who when people have always brought up politics to me, I was always somebody, this is another reason why, okay, which tells you I don't want anything to do with that, okay? I am a person who wants nothing to do with politics. Nothing. At all. Like, it would come on when I was, I remember when I was working in Chatsworth, right? And, I dreaded the day that Obama got elected into president, because I knew that people were going to assume that I was an Obama follower and all this other stuff. And I kept thinking, oh my fucking God, I wish I didn't have to go to work today. And my boss comes in and starts talking. And I have nothing really against Obama or anything. It's just I stay out of the political arena. Everybody knows that. You know what I mean? So she comes in. I'm in the conference room. Everybody's like talking about it, and I'm like in the conference room trying to like just eat my food, avoiding it, because like, to me, when you single out the black employee because of the black president, it's like that's tasteless. It kind of is, really. And to make that assumption, I know people think it's like the natural thing that comes to them, right? But we're talking about politics, and by talking about something so openly, it just, whatever. I just thought it was in poor taste.
But anyway, I wasn't. Okay, I wasn't comfortable talking about it, and
I just want to go home.
I want to stay out of politics. I hate it. Okay? But people feel as though my life is political. And I'm political because why? Why do people look at my life as political? Because I was an abused person. I recognized when people were treating me like shit, and I chose to stay away from that. Therefore, I'm political, that I'm raising hell? No, I'm not. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of being abused. So I'm going to move away from that. Like, or somebody trying to feel like they're going to financially exploit me or whatever, because I don't want people financially exploiting me or abusing me in any way. I'm political. Or is that some way of saying I want to exercise unfair control and punish you and abuse you when you don't bend and act according to our whatever. I don't know.
It seems that way. because, you know, I can't be something I'm not. You know what I mean? I can't be something I'm not. And it's funny, like I said, you know, I have no interest in being in politics. Although I do have my opinions, I do. And going back to the issue of Obama, like I said, I've never had any issues against Obama. I've never talked ill against Obama. I never said any. I just, you know, it's just, you know, I have accepted this platform for what it is. I accept the earth for what it is. It is hell, right? And it seems as though, you know, people always want to vote people in, and then when they vote this person in. You know how many presidents I have been told were the Antichrist? Since I've been in grade school. They're like, they'll break it down to numerology too. You know, Ronald Reagan, he's like the devil and blah, blah, blah. All these people, they say things, they want him, then they hate him, then they, you know, they flip on him, then they demand this, you know, stuff from this person. It's like, you know, the point is that people, the system's already been written, okay? But people forget. They do what they do, and I don't. I can't control it. You know what I mean? And very few people can. I can spot the problems. You know what I mean? I can spot the problems. You know what I mean? And I do understand that a lot of the problems do come from poor government structure. Sorry, but it's true. You know what I mean? And I have, according to right now, at least right now, I have the freedom to say that. It is bad as part of government structure. The reason why we have these things. But then it's just been like generation upon generation of bad examples and whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that to be fair. You know what I mean? Because, you know.
But at the same time, you know, you make targets out of people who don't deserve to be targets. You know what I mean? Or even aware of something like that. But yeah, you know, I understand people who get targeted if you have different views. You know what I mean? But should that be the case if you're in the United States? Especially if your views are not like against the country. You know, I've never been somebody who acted against the country or communicated with people in other countries to tell people the secrets of our country or anything like that. You know what I mean? And those are the people that you're supposed to be watching. Those are the people that are supposed to be getting attention. I am in no way a threat to my country. Remember, this is where I live. Now, I understand I was cloned and all this other stuff. But the people who orchestrated all of this, they were a part of something that, you know, you want to drag all these people out and whatever. That was the deal. That was the agreement between this country and that country at that time. And this is how they handled it. That's what it is. And I got that birth certificate, so it is what it is. Settled. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But they will use any excuse to sit here and always, like, put some sort of, what do you call it? You know, blocking my path because it is, you know, this is a religion that's a big money maker, or at least it used to be. I don't know. And like I said, I wasn't somebody who wanted to be, you know, into religious war. You know, when I do my meditations on my ancestors and my loved ones, I think a lot about my father, James Calvin Gordon, and he will not come back to the earth. He is in heaven, the heavenly state in heaven, meaning like he has the access to heaven and he can also make his visitations in the earth. This is a flexibility that you have when you are not contained in a vessel. And I'm glad. I don't want to be back here either. You know what I mean? I have, you know, tossed the idea of a new earth in my mind. And like I said, you know, I think that was the goal of when people wrote the laws. I thought that, see, they think, yeah, we'll make it a law, and they assume that people are going to respect it. They assume that people are even going to know about it. You know what I mean? Like, some people, it goes in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? But the truth is already in place. And so that's all you can really say and go by. You know, at least I go by. You know what I mean? So the issues were was like, you know, I was being pressed to the wall to accept some sort of doctrine or whatever. And like I said, I'm not a threat to this country.
I have no interest in being a threat, and I'm not going to sit here and allow myself to be put in situations where, I'm not suited for. I'm not suited for that. I'm not suited for what people thought or assumed that I was even trying to fight for. That seems really bewildering to me. Like, I know that I had this sort of association, this indirect association with some of these celebrities, and I don't know, it's like, I do get the feeling that certain people, which I'm going to, just let them be nameless at this point, because I'm tired of exerting energy. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me to sit here and upload a bunch of videos. It's not worth it to me to drain myself on things that I am not really sure I'm going to financially benefit from. But I will say that when it comes to me and this issue of, certain traditions in this country that are on the decline, and because people think that that's my fault, it's not my fault. Like I said, I was never, I think they wanted to pressure me into relationships with people that they wanted, that they, I guess, other cloney type people, for whatever, maybe their own financial gain or whatever, I'm assuming. But, I'm not interested in being, I see, when you're someone like me, you're going to be prone to abuse. You're going to be prone to abuse. Why? Because I have what they call, you know, um, the reason why people sit here and talk about me being different is because they view my habits and traits as superior. Okay, and men can get very frustrated with women who come off with more ideas than them, seem more intelligent than them, whatever. It puts people in situations where, like, I'm not going to be able to put up with somebody, doing things around me that I don't feel comfortable with. And I'm going to argue. I'm going to demand my space. I'm going to demand these things. And we're going to be arguing. We're going to hate each other. And don't get me wrong. Could it get to the point where we're going to kill each other? I will tell you, when people feel like they are forced and boxed in, like I was talking about repression, right? People who feel like they don't have any way out. When you talk about people being in forced marriages, what's the first thing that's going to go into their mind? The only way they know how to get rid of that person is that they fucking kill that person, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I would never put myself in that situation, right? Because no one's worth me spending my time in jail. Okay? And I already know that. So I don't want to play that kind of game. Just stay the hell away from me. That's it. The way it goes. You know what I mean? And I know. I know how that works. There gets to be a lot of, I don't know. The whole thing with Libra 14 was weird. Thinking that, see, with some women, they do marry for status, and they do marry for those sort of things. I don't know if somebody of his genre or his age or his group, are still, what I call money drawers. Okay, I don't pay attention to people's net worth and stuff like that. Why? Because I realize more and more every day, because of the situation and the issue of reincarnation, that I'm an earth angel. I get it. Meaning, like, my angelic DNA, I'm an angel. And I know that sounds weird. And if I would have said this like a few years ago, I would have checked myself when I said it. Like, that's not, because what I hate more than anything is people who have these weird delusional type things. Okay, like where they think they're more than what they are. That's not me. Okay, I understand that this is the reason why I was chased. This is the reason why people assume. This is the reason why I was bullied. This is the reason because of my superiority. Okay, you'll notice that once I find something out, if something is incorrect, if I realize that it is something against mankind, meaning if I know it hurts somebody, if I know, I have certain considerations and ethics that most people just they don't care about. Okay, there's a lot of savage people that I've been around. Okay, and they don't care. They have no conscience whatsoever. Okay, there is something in me that will not allow myself to stoop that low. And what is that? It is that DNA. It is that DNA. It is my need to be integrity. Integrity is not something that I have to sit here and try to convince other people that I have or I can do or be. Okay, I am that. And why am I that? Because I am angelic. That's why. That's why. That's why I'm the goody two shoes. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I did do a lot of bad things when I was younger, like anyone else does. right? But the only difference between me and the wrongdoer is once I've done it, I understand why it was wrong, okay, for me and the person I might have hurt, and I don't do it again, ever, okay? This is what makes me somebody who is not somebody who's habitual, you know what I mean, when it comes to those sort of things. So, if I am one of these sort of people, I am what they call a chosen one. I'm a chosen one, and I understand that. This is the reason why I deal with ridiculous smear campaigns, you know, and people bullying me and abusing me. Because we live in a world where it's like materialism, getting ahead, and being the shining star in this, what I'm going to call demonic society, is the most important thing to a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, I understand. I want people to respect me. So that's why when I was angry about when I found out what people were saying about me, okay, when you're telling people, okay, that I was against people, or I had some sort of agenda, or I was, you know, what do you call it, somebody who died at your hands through your torment, so your torment, okay, they're being tormented by so-called Christians or Christians, right? And then somehow make me out to be the bad guy, of course I'm going to be upset about that, as I should be. And I have the right to have a good reputation. I have the right to have a good name. So you can screw me over on so many different things, which you already have, okay? This is one of the reasons why I'm very reluctant to sit here and add one more video to even my content channel now. I'm taking it easy and watching what I'm seeing, what happens, whatever unfolds. I'm not going to sit here bend over backwards worrying, oh, should I do this one content? I'm not going to do any of that because I'm tired. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I will say that when I talk about the work situation, to me, work 9 to 5 should have always been different than things relating to, you know, platform channels. They're not the same. If a platform channel was the same as a 9 to 5, you would fill out an application. You would fill out an application. That right there would make it your job. By law, it would be there, therefore there would be your employers, right? There is no employee situation here. And how do I know that? Because I am knowledgeable, right? But see, and this is the problem with it is that I deal with people who are not. And why is that? Because I'm angelic. This is what the big deal is. This is why I'm always the center of attention. And you know, it's so funny. I've been like thinking about certain comments that were made in the past about me, or you know, towards me. I'm going to bring up Vicki Murray and this one girl that I used to work with. I think her name was Lily. Yeah, her name was Lily, right? And Lily would always sit here and come in and cause me problems. She didn't like me because I was very regimented and I cared about paperwork and I cared about organization. And this was new to her because, you know why? Because before then, those sort of things were not put in place, right? And of course, you know, because of the rumors and everything and me being the quote-unquote superior person that they will never give any credit to, right? They just had to bully me every once in a while when she got together with Steve Landry, right? This is what they would do. All the time, right? So I remember saying, you know, telling Vicki that, you know, it really bothered me when I would have to deal with these sort of encounters with these people when I'm just trying to do my job. And you know what she said? Vicki said, well, she just never met someone like you before. Of course she's going to sit here and be intimidated. She's intimidated by you. Of course she never met someone like you. Of course she never met someone. I'm like thinking to myself, I highly doubt that. Now, people know that there's kids in their school. They can go back in time, and they can go back and think about the classmates that they've had. And some of the black kids, right? The black kids would have never went to school to the next age or grade level if they were dumb, okay? They wouldn't, okay? They have to have, they wouldn't do that, okay? Of course, you have to also look at people who are actually attending the class, okay? But still, people deep down inside, they may not want to admit it, but they know that people can do things. We know how to add, we know how to subtract, we can pass our schools, okay? So why is it that you're tripping out on me? The reason why she said that is because she knew I was a clone. And Murray Family Farms was just one of those clone setups. Now, what I'm having clone setups is like an employment mill. That's what they call it, an employment mill. Now, don't get me wrong. People get paid at Murray Family Farms. People do their jobs at Murray Family Farms. People get
their products, their services, and whatever at Murray Family Farms. But what Murray Family Farms does is they cooperate with certain people so that they can get, what, jobs to sit here and monitor other people. And that I was one of those people who was monitored. Okay? So this is one of the reasons why Steve Murray thought that he can say and do the things that he did. This is one of the reasons why Steve Murray was amazed when I sat here and talked about, when he asked me, so what kind of books are you reading? And I told him, he was like, that doesn't sound like something you'd read. And I'm thinking, I just started here. How do you know what I read? Why? Because he already knew about me. See? And this is how that shit works. I get it now. You know what I mean? But still, at the same time, all through that time, still had no idea. That time I had no idea. I had just left working over in Chatsworth. I was working in Chatsworth, and I was dealing with Lisa, right? That nightmare woman. Who was just like causing me problems. And she was told to cause me problems. She was told to do this sort of stuff. And Karen was, doing her job when she sat there and came in and said, oh, I wouldn't want to set you up for failure. You wouldn't want to set me up for failure, Karen? Yes, you would. That's all you're caring about. You just couldn't wait to set me up for fucking failure with your bullying, your side remarks, and all of that other shit, okay? So I know how it goes now. You know what I mean? I'm not happy about it. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all, And then, I think have to add to the issue of like, the smear campaigns, and then the smear campaigns, and the what do you call it? They're trying to put me in a situation where, I'm being compared or bullied against, or people that I used to know were bullying me, and all of this stuff. It's like, how animalistic can you be? How animalistic can you be? You know what I mean? I'm so disgusted by the entire thing. It's not even funny. Anyway, so yes, I do believe that I have a spiritual gift. Yes, and I do think, do believe in what it is that I do, who I am, and it is what it is. And so, but my main issue today is that I am not putting any more effort into it. I will watch it, see what happens, and whatever happens, happens. I'm rolling with the punches. I understand that we live in a system, okay, that that is demonic. We live in a demonic system. There is no way, when I say demonic system, I'm saying people are demonic. We live around a demonic people, and most people have that problem. Okay, the very fact that they break the laws and they do the things that they do and they behave the way that they do and they are happy about behaving the way that they do shows it. Okay, and when you think about, how it is, it's weird because, things have a very strange twist in all of this. There's a very strange twist in all of this because a lot of people would never understand or realize that a spiritual person could come into this vessel, because they always think that, black people always, and they do this on purpose. The reason why people think the way that they do about people of color is because of propaganda. Why? Because they want to hide the fact that we're not the evil ones. I'm not saying black people can't be evil, because they can be, okay? I know for a fact they can be, but what I'm saying is that people have to, I understand what cognitive dissonance is, and I think I've talked about it enough on this channel to where other people do too. So anyway, I understand that marriage is on the decline, and so is Christianity. I am going to be writing my vision, okay? And like I said, I have to be very careful about what it is that I create, mainly because there is like this major force to try to stop me from doing things that I've been doing, okay? Because people look at it as a threat to the Christian church. The Christian control, right? And that's not the issue, okay? Some people have to make sound decisions in their life when they do things, and I know that I have always tried to protect myself from abuse, and I understand that it's the Christian church that has abused me. Okay, I'm not responsible for something that
the problem with it is that you create a oppressive society that people start to resent you and they're afraid. And I want to say you, I'm talking about the church that attacked me.
Okay, people are afraid, and you've always been this way. When I say you know what I'm talking about. It's always been where people felt as though they were walking on eggshells when it came to the church. Okay, if you said something about the church, they felt as though you were being blasphemous, that you were being disrespectful, and that's not the truth. The fact is that there's a difference between church and you're talking about God. There's a total difference between the two. Okay, the church is run by men who, okay, can become greedy, can become infused with evil, can become so jealous that they do become evil. And that's what happens, okay? The church is run by men. When I say men and women, okay, but when I say by man is able to make mistakes. Man is able to do something wrong, okay? They are not holy, all right? So when you create this sort of oppression to where people hate their lives, okay, they hate their lives, right? It's already more difficult for people to pay things, their bills, to be able to provide for themselves, to even have, like I was telling my child a couple days ago, it's like, hey, I'm not going to worry about it if you don't ever give me grandkids, because, it's hard enough to feed yourself. And that's the truth. It's hard enough to do those things, right? Than to sit here and worrying about another mouth to feed. And it's not, because I know kids are cute. They're very cute. And I'll talk more about kids when I create my views on my whole thing I'm going to be doing on that. And like I said, I am very careful about my content. Very careful about my content. Because I know that there's people who think that my content is like, a form of charity. Charity to people who hate my guts. Right? That's what it is. So anyway, marriage is on the decline. I don't even know what to say. My issue has always been circumstantial. You know what I mean? I knew I had no one else but me, and I always wanted to stay away from people who were abusive. They only allow you to associate with their people, so all their people are rude. People that I literally cannot stand, nor do I have respect for. So what do you expect? What am I supposed to do? Oh, jeez. But I never realized that was a political thing. And no, I understand. See, the thing is, they want to block you because they want to. When it comes to Christianity, I understand how blessings work. I had mentioned the Wizard of Oz before, okay? And it's just like Oz behind the curtain, right? Oz behind the curtain. And things will always be difficult unless, of course, you sit here and become a Christian, okay? But I already mentioned why I will never do that in one of my videos, okay? Because obviously it's the whole process all over again. The whole goal for me is to go to heaven, okay? I'm not trying to come back here on earth, right? Besides, I feel like I've already learned enough lessons. I do get the feeling that people wanted to see wig reviews. Now, I did do a video that, and I do believe Capricorn 9 specifically is interested, of all people, to see me do a wig review, which is weird. Okay, but anyway, I did do a video called Red Flare in Your Hair. It is on Ko-fi if you are interested in watching it. And I'm not pushing it, okay, but the thing is, if my numbers start showing that they're increasing, then I'm going to put out more content. Okay, I am not interested in interviewing celebrities right now, because at this point, I'm feeling uncomfortable knowing that there were certain celebrities that contacted me because they were being somebody's puppets, which I don't really like. You know what I mean? You want to say something, say something. But no, I mean, I already did one, and I'm not somebody who, I just thought the whole thing about the harassment, about the wig thing, I understand, like, when you think about hair symbolism is hair is something that, again, you're identified with, okay? There's certain things that, that make people see and tap into who you are by how you wear your hair, whether that be fake or real, okay? And one way a person tries to exercise power over another person is by, for example, cutting off their hair. Now, just recently, I think it was a few years ago, okay, there was a boy in school a black kid who was wearing braids. Okay, his teacher or his instructor, his coach or whatever, took it upon herself to cut his hair. Okay, now we all know that that is an offense. In a lot of cultures, it's considered an offense. Why? That belongs to him. It is a part of his body. It comes out of his body. It is on his person. Now, what she should have done is she should have informed the boy's mother that, maybe this is, against the rules. Maybe you should do this or whatever. Or maybe she already told him and that he didn't, respond accordingly. Okay, and maybe they could have put, but you do not touch something that belongs to somebody else. Okay, and to do so, that is you demonstrating your authority over somebody in an abusive manner. Just like, I remember there was some girls when I was younger, I think she was Asian, right? She was telling me as a form of punishment, her mother cut her hair. I don't deserve to be punished. And see, this is something that these people know. Okay, they know it. Okay, so, but they will sit here and abuse you for an experiment. And they will sit here and allow, gossip to fester and be, and set you up as a scapegoat for something that they've done. I'm not dumb. It's funny because I know for many years people thought that I was. Because they wanted to, right? They wanted to because it made it easier for them to sit here and do certain things. People have said things in front of me, and I just sat there typing, like I'm acting like I don't hear. I heard every goddamn word you said, and I know what you meant. Okay? I hope you understand when I said I was a researcher, I meant what I said. I'm a researcher. And I take notes, and I review, and I analyze. That's what I do. That's who I am, right? Whether you want to recognize it or not. But I'll tell you one thing. These people were very intimidated by this woman that they think is unintelligent. They are very intimidated by somebody who they feel is inferior, and I'm a fucking loser. Oh, really? Anyway. That's what I'm basically saying, and I understand that there's certain celebrities that have even gone so far to stalk me on social media, and I'm sorry that you got involved in this. I can't tell you how sorry I am that you got involved in this. It's kind of like, what it makes it kind of makes it like, it kind of, I don't want things to get tainted, okay? Because to me, this whole issue was so dark and so disgusting and so unnecessary and so like, I don't know. It made me lose a lot of respect for a lot of people. Like, try to get it back. That's all I got to say. Try to get it back, okay? Ain't gonna happen. All right. So this is one of the reasons why, I figured, hey, if you're contacting me for this reason, it's sad, but I ain't gonna talk to you. At least for not right now, because I can't deal with that right now. Okay. I have had this. To me is like, you can tell it's demonic. The formulation of it is demonic as fuck because it plows through everything that could be decent. And I'm like, okay, before you do anything else, we need to be done. Okay, it can't go on like this. There's certain things that are sacred, and a lot of that's just it. Society doesn't understand the concept of what's sacred. You know what sacred is? I'll tell you what's sacred. Sacred is something. Is something that should not be defiled, okay, and disrespected in any way. And I'll tell you one thing I found about Christians is that this is what they do. A lot of things that I've known people to do, according to what they follow in their own Bible, is complete defilement, right? Why? Because a lot of Christians don't read their own Bible. And I know people, the reason why people have problems with me is because I am too true. I am too true. Some people get involved in things like the truth movement because it's trendy, and they like to spout off about certain facts and figures, and it makes them sound like a big brain, right? I'm so impressive that they know about this sort of stuff. But the sad part is, I live this. Okay? And I don't know. I'm getting this weird message. Okay, it had something to do with a celebrity stalking me about, and I'm trying to figure out why. It had something to do with, maybe it had something to do with food. Okay, it had something to do with food, right? I know that there were some people who wanted to bully me because I believe in eating food that has value. Okay, or do the best you can, okay? And, because I dealt with people in my past, like Mary Cha, and what's her name, Maya Holmes, and a couple of other people who wanted to hold it against me for
for, eating well. Actually, I don't think I eat well, but I don't eat a bunch of sweets and stuff like that anymore. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with me hating people. It just has something to do with me no longer wanting that. You know what I mean? I do eat really mainly to maintain a lot of body aches and stuff, and I respect the human body. Okay, you have to respect the human body. It's a spiritual belief of mine. To me, the body is a sacred temple, and I know people want it to make this an issue, and I think this is one of the things that seriously launched something like Project 2025. I really do think. Now, the reason why is because this has something to do with a male dominant type thing, and once again, it has nothing to do with me trying to burn bras. It's about me being raised in an experiment and not wanting to have to deal with people that are crooked. Okay? And that's it. You know what I mean? Everything is always assumed that a person who does something is either doing it out of a form of rebellion. You know what I mean? That's like the last thing that has ever been on my mind. You know what I mean? I've never even thought about rebelling. As a matter of fact, according to what doctors used to say, now I don't really think very highly of the medical profession, but I think most people know that, eating something like a vegetable is much better than eating something like a chocolate bar. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, and I understand a lot of people struggle with making those choices. But at the same time, what I feel is that some of my schoolmates were jealous of me because they have been brainwashed into thinking that that sort of life is normal. You know what I mean? I will tell you, Mary Cha, that what you see around you is common, but there was a time where that wasn't normal. It wasn't normal. You know what I mean? And I'm directing this to you because I do remember getting weird vibes from you when I was talking to you one time. And I understand that you've always been a follower. You've always been a follower. That's how you are. Okay? And I guess I understand that's how you are. That's the stance that you want to take. You have the right to do that. Okay? But you do not have the right to tell me how to live my life. Okay? Because you're jealous. Okay? And perplexed too. You're perplexed and you're jealous. You're thinking, okay, well, we're in our 50s, or at the time when this happened, we were in our 30s. Okay, I'm thinking about how many years this has been going on, and how many times you stop talking, and that's fine. And I get it. You've got other things to do. What you want to do is you want to be a part of like this collective group, which I like to say. The names of these people are pretty impressive, right? And you're an exclusive group. And I'm the target, and you think it's okay to sit here and bully people and try to basically force people into suicide with your demands of having people change. Well, I am not under any obligation to do that. You know what I mean? At least not legally. And I don't appreciate what you did. And what but you've identified yourself as what? A false friend. False friend. You're an informant, and you're willing to do whatever you need to do in order to. I don't know. See, this is my issue with society: is that you can be an absolute hypocrite. Okay, you can be a total hypocrite, and you're totally respected in society. Okay, you can be the deviant of what the law says, and you can come out squeaky clean. And see, this is what I've been about all my entire life. Okay, but this is what I choose to live. You know what I mean? I choose to live separate from how society lives because I recognize that there is a serious problem with how people live. Okay? And I am a silent observer. Before, I never really said anything about until I started realizing I was targeted. But I used to sit there and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I used to watch certain things like on the news. Like when I used to watch reruns on Fox TV many years ago. I was like the late 90s because I don't really watch TV anymore. And there would be things that would come on, like, segments of like news clips or whatever before another show would come on. And it would be talking about something. And it's not that I didn't have an opinion on it. It's just that I kept thinking, people are so corrupt. They're so flippin' corrupt. What are they thinking? There's so many things that go on that I'm just like, I cannot believe this is actually going on. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm getting this view of what Mary Cha. No, taking care of your body is, unfortunately, it's not debatable. Okay, it's my right. I have the right to take care of my body. And I'm surprised that you would actually stoop so low to do what you did. Okay, no respect. Okay, and don't think that I'm going to sit here and cry over that friendship, because I'm not. And I'm not going to cry over Maya Holmes or anybody else or whatever happened to Teresa Bench. I don't give a fuck. Okay, because you guys have created stuff that was to me so disgusting and so dark. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? See, some people, they want to be included so bad. They would want to be included so bad that they would sit here and associate with people that they know good and well they wouldn't want anything to do with them. Okay? I'm fine with that. I'm getting another message here. And I know, I don't, it's unfortunate, but no, I'm not changing my life for anybody. So, what you guys did was you guys started bullying me probably with the help of some other celebrities or whatever. You keep your little thing. I'm getting some messages. Wait, I'm going to take a pause here. Yeah, so yeah, I am mentioning your name. The reason why is because I am tired of suffering for everybody's bullshit. I'm holding people accountable. And this is not me trying to start a fight, but you know what I'm doing? I'm jerking that chain, is what I'm doing, Mary. I'm jerking the chain. That's what I'm doing, Maya. Hey, if I got to bring in Valerie Burdett, I'll bring you in too. Okay? And everybody else that I knew, that I can remember. You know what I mean? Just because you see somebody on, this is what's going on a lot, okay? People are going on things like social media and creating dialogues and dramas in people's lives just for fun. Just for fun. Okay? And you may not like my political views. Let's just say, for example, people thought that they saw that picture of me many years ago, and they thought that I had that, look to where I was being seductive. Because after now, ever since, this has been a blow up, I had started thinking about, okay, let's really think about that picture. I did take that picture, and it does kind of look like, I was posing, okay? But that wasn't the reason why I was doing it. You know why I was doing it? Is because my couch was so dilapidated that I was trying to hold the back of it up. So I had to use my arm to kind of give it some support. At least because, the way it kind of propped me up. But anyway, it was one of those fold-out beds, okay? So anyway, I do look at it that way, kind of, okay? But what if that was my intent? What if that was my dream, to sit here and be like some sort of goddess, to where I wanted to put myself right in the middle of a garden of men and just screw every single last one of them? You know what? That's my business. That is my business. Can I be arrested for that? No, I couldn't. I couldn't. So why would you want to sit here and attack me if that was my desire to do? Why? Because you're jealous. I can't imagine why would you think that somebody does not have the right to sit here and go after their dream if that was my thing? Okay, either way, however you look at it, that's not your place. It's not your place, okay? And it's not your place as a Christian to sit here and tell me how to live my life either. So I'm glad that you dropped out of my life. You know why? Because I don't need someone like you. I don't need someone like you. You know? What else do I want to say before I wrap this up? I think I've pretty much explained my political views already. No, I don't know. Year of the discontented. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? At least in my mind. It's not formalized in a textbook to where you're going to see the discontented and you're going to see Mary Chaw's picture, along with her other little accomplices like, Maya Holmes and all these other people. But you are definitely somebody who tried to cause me problems that I will not forgive. Okay? You're demonic as fuck. And you know what you deserve? You fucking deserve to get all the punishment that could possibly come to you. And that means all of you guys. Why? Because you harmed an innocent person. Along with my family who sat here and fueled the fire. Okay? I don't know what happened to the Patreon issue or any of my content, really. Because unfortunately, I can't trust that. I do know that Capricorn 9 plays some sort of role in giving people information about me, right? But it's not true. It's not true. This is a part of the plan that was already in motion before it actually started. Like, I had no idea. You know what I mean? But see, I can't be a part of a religion, right? Where I'm not allowed to think. And see, you guys don't think, and it shows. It shows that you don't think. So, okay, obviously, Mary Child has a problem with my body. What is your problem, Mary, with my body? Yes, legally, I have the right to have whatever body I want to. Okay, so you wanted to put me together with Justin Hayward or something like that. There's some sort of connection there. Okay, I understand all of this that happened. And this to me is like so weird. Okay, I'm not a teenager anymore. And although I enjoy listening to oldies, preferably than anything else, really, but at least, you know, when I want to do something, it does motivate me. It gives me energy to get things done. And sometimes it's cool to reflect on, you know, what I was thinking about when I first heard that song or whatever. But like I also separate, I can separate, as an adult, I can separate the music from the artist from the art. I can totally do that. Now, as a teenager, you don't think about that. You think that musician is the art. So therefore, you think, oh my God, that's so fucking phenomenal. For all I know, he could have just been somebody who had who had the right voice, or he could have, like, you know, that's it. I don't know. I never really studied it that deeply. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, I believe that my political views are superb. And I'm sorry that in the United States of America that I have to explain myself. I can assure you I'm not doing anything legal. Okay, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm basically somebody who is just kind of going along, minding my own business, and I'm just coasting at this point. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I do believe that you guys are involved in the obstruction of my success, because you guys felt it was your responsibility as being the good Christians that you are to create roadblocks. That's what you did. Okay? That you did, and you thought that, hey, I'm doing something as a Christian. I'm doing something. No, you didn't. You did it because you were jealous, because you must have thought that I looked good in that picture, and it hurt your feelings, hurt your pride, and in order to feel better about yourself, you wanted to sit here and try to kill me by some murderous plot, by spreading rumors and whatever, and that's what you did. Right? Because that's what, according to the law, that's exactly what you did. Get off my back, okay? I remember there was times when I was younger, you know, that you guys were doing whatever you did when we were in school age, okay? You guys had those years, okay? Now I choose to live my life for me, okay? And whatever that might be, and I can assure you, I'm not having any fun. And it's a result of your selfishness. It's a result of your demonic foolishness. Is the reason why I sit here in my room figuring out what I'm going to do. Yeah, do I think you're a demonic as fuck? Anybody who sat here and believed that shit and acted on it, okay, and did the things that you guys did, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. And you know what? I wouldn't say the law would define you as demonic, but the law would definitely define you as criminal. Oh, yes, it would. So anyway, I think that's really it. Let me just pause for just 1 second and see if there's anything else that I want to say. Yeah, so now that I'm kind of like, you know, coasting, I'm literally like living day to day, taking it easy, trying to figure out how I'm going to navigate each and every day. I'm not going to sit here and bend over backwards trying to figure out, you know, is my shit going to be safe or whatever. And I'd like to understand, like, okay, so the people who created, okay, the message I'm getting right now has something to do with the alien reset. The alien reset. What am I trying to get? Yeah, okay. I'm giving the message that I'm the occult authority, that something about me giving tarot lessons, and that of my royal ancestry. I think you guys make more of my royal ancestry than I even did. Okay, like I said, I had no idea that I was even royalty, and I would say that I've met people who claim to be descendants from like the royal family when I was younger. Okay, so I understand that they exist, but I didn't think anything of it. I never thought that I was better than anybody. I am grateful for my DNA, but I don't think, you know, okay, so what else? What else am I saying? Okay, and then that C.B. Braganza was considered someone very important to this particular movement back in the day. So is that the reason why You guys believed you guys were on some sort of Christian mission to try to stop me. And so you guys looked at me as some sort of opposition and wanted to ban against me in the United States and create terrorist threats. Is that what it was? Because that's exactly what I'm getting. Okay? No. Okay? What you guys did was another autocratic move. It's a lot of people who are discontent with their lives and want to take it out on another person. And that's what you did. And legally, I have the right, like I said, to be in whatever kind of vessel style that I want to be. Okay, Christianity for years, okay, has been using that as an excuse to bully people into certain movements. And I believe that these sort of ideas, which makes me funny, it makes me laugh when I see um, people who join into this sort of stuff, because Christianity, at least the way that it's practiced, okay, it seems very rooted in white supremacy. Okay, um, I am not somebody who chooses to be a Christian, and that is in no way saying I poo-poo on people who pray to Jesus. I'm saying is the institution, the orchestration of people who do things behind the scenes, okay, that are contrary to the law, that participate in terrorist attacks. This is the stuff that I do not appreciate. Okay, and people, like I said, oh, I think I got off the subject because I was talking. Okay, people a long time ago when I was growing up, okay, the Christian faith was so guarded. Like they wanted to like strike down anybody who disagreed, not with disagreement with what God was saying, but if they disagreed, like the girls who were bullying my sister Tanya, who was trying to enjoy her date, right? These girls were probably I remember them. To me, there was one of the girls looked okay, but the other girl, she was kind of chunky or whatever, and they were bullying my sister. Okay, a lot of times people feel insecure about themselves, so they feel like, oh, I don't feel good about myself, so I'm going to make it a God thing. Okay, now mind you, the Bible just comes straight out and says it. Okay, that the Bible doesn't approve of gluttony, doesn't approve of sitting here eating, gorging yourself. Okay, but they don't care about that. What they care about is making themselves feel good at the expense of somebody else. So basically, Mary Child, you were willing to put me to death, right? You were willing to put me to death so that you can get what you want to benefit you. Isn't that right? Is that what you were trying to do, my own? Trying to fucking kill me so that you can get shit? Right? No. Okay. So you guys can go out in society and be fully respected, because you can deal with a bunch of other people who are just as brainwashed as you are. Okay? I don't like to be in a part of that sort of stuff. It is not something, I have never aspired to be like you. Now, when I was younger, I would say that there's certain things I had in common with you guys, okay? Like, I used to love Duran Duran when I was a teenager and that sort of stuff, okay? The things that are superficial, like, but still, I do remember certain music and stuff like that. And that's what the things that you do as a kid, right? But you don't realize, like, the plots and the planning and whatever, and the bullying and stuff. You don't respect me. No, you didn't. When you guys did this sort of stuff, you guys were thinking about yourself, and you wanted very desperately to sit here to try to transform a person. Well, guess what? I'm not transforming. Okay? And if that means that you guys have to pay with your life, well, then I guess you guys better get ready to die. Okay? That's just how it fucking is. Because I have a right to live. Okay? According to the law, I have the right to live. And you guys, if you guys want to sit here and bully somebody, then you guys need to pay the consequences for that. Okay? Nobody wants to fucking deal with that Christian bullshit. You know what I mean? It's insanity, is what it is. So, going back to the human reset, what does that have to do with me being bullied? Is it because, let me tell you something, I get the message that no one disagrees, other than certain people who have a political agenda, disagree with what I'm doing. Like, when I tap into the energies of these aliens that sit in all of this, they don't have a problem with what I'm doing, okay? But we have some egotistical people who seem like they do, okay? So, I don't know what to tell you people, but now, the new pop movement was new in the 19th century. Okay, now people, utilize it in different ways, and it's become widespread. Okay, but they walk on somebody to get it. Christians do that sort of stuff. They take people's ideas and try to profit from it, is what they try to do. You know what I mean? So, Mary Child, you know what I mean? I'm not going to take any responsibility for your problems. My political beliefs, I'm going to go over those later. But see, when I think of political, I think of things that are widespread. Things that are me basically saying this is how people are supposed to live. Okay, now when things that are written in the law, this is how they're supposed to live. There are certain itty bitty choices that I choose to have and live by that are my right to do, but are not necessarily something that I believe should be handed down and told to do. Like the kind of music I listen to. You know, and I listen to a lot of different kinds. Does that mean that everybody's supposed to be, you know, have eclectic taste? No. You know what I mean? That's a personal choice that I have the right to have. You know what I mean? Especially as long as I'm not interrupting people's peace or I'm not, you know, disturbing the peace or causing some sort of disruption. I have the right to do those things. Okay, now I know sometimes people get bullied for certain things. People can bully you for your choice of music, and that's what courts are for. That's what the court system's for. You want to sit here and, like, you know, put thrash on my lawn. You want to sit here and bully me because, or try to prevent me from employment. And if we can take this to law, to court, to actual court, and settle it as it should be, without, you know, what do you call it, shadow governments, secret societies, and people helping along the white agenda, like, you know, the illegal operation that you guys are a part of, I would be getting my compensation accordingly. Okay. So no, I do not believe that the aliens or the alien race that created me has any problem with my message. None whatsoever. Okay, but like I said, what I'm fighting and dealing with are the people who are jealous of me. So anyway, yeah, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So I think that's the only message I have. You know, I will be working on my vision. I do not know what I'm going to do with it. It is not something that I'm giving away as some sort of donation. Okay? I have to make money somehow. I'm not worried about how I'm going to do it. I'm coasting. I'm seriously coasting. Okay? But I have the right to be careful. Okay? I know that I've dealt with nothing but corruption, individuals that are basically trying to get stuff, people who are trying to, you know, suppress, you know, or try to enslave other people, you know, because they want to promote the Christian agenda in the United States of America. Whatever. Okay? But I'm not going to sweat it. I basically said my piece. And I'm just basically today taking some time to express my frustration because I did come to that conclusion. You know what I mean? I understand that, you know, I understand that we live in a topsy-turvy world because we do live in hell. Okay? And I do believe that there's a lot of people that I used to know who are extremely demonic. And this is the reason why, when you take a look at it from a spiritual standpoint, you know, the whole act of becoming a part of the Christian church is to continually be servants of the group. This is what it means to be. And I am not going to do that in my next life. So I don't choose to be a Christian. Okay, it doesn't mean that I'm not a moral person. I'm extremely moral, meaning, like, you know, I don't put situations in place to cause people problems. I don't try to obstruct them. I don't try to bully them. I don't try to take things that don't belong to me. I don't sit here and covet and envy things to people to the point of where they're trying to commit suicide. This is the sort of stuff that you guys do. And I don't. I don't. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this. Yeah, and you know, the law offices they support my views. Okay? The law offices do support my views. I'm going to talk more about the law in my vision because I'm breaking it all down in subjects. It's going to start with creation, and then I'm going to talk about children, childbearing, child rearing, child development, adulthood, and I'm going to go school system. I'm going to talk about as much as I possibly can, okay? Because I do believe that my work is important. You know what I mean? I believe in my work. You know what I mean? And for those select few who want to hear it. Now, the thing is that I am not for everybody. There's a group of people like the people that I used to know. Okay? These people thrive in the demonic system. This is what they live for. And this is what they choose to do. They choose to be this way. Okay? And that's fine for them. But I'm going to tell you right now, let's not intersect sides. Let's not sit here and try to be obstructing people.
Okay, you can believe what you want to believe and believe that in peace. Okay, and you can be a part of that system. Okay, but I am for people who are of the alternative. I am alternative thought people. I'm part of like, I probably did create the truth movement. I probably did. Now the truth movement doesn't get, I mean, well, I'm not really necessarily a part of that, but I know that I've been awake for very many years, okay, longer than 20 something years. And I've been talking about stuff, you know, to inside of my home, to like my ex-husband and stuff like that. So, you know, this is the sort of people that I click with, not people in, I never tried to fit in with your group, Mary. I would say hi to you guys, but I never sat here and tried to fit in with your clique. I mean, not since like junior high school, you know what I mean? I can see we have different views, you know what I mean? We have different views all together. So, and I'm fine with that. You go ahead and keep being who you are. Okay, yeah, I'm aware of, I believe, oh gosh, who's that person who's stalking me on Pandora? I'm aware of me being stalked on Pandora. I'm aware of that. Okay, I got a psychic message of that, like, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. I get it. I get it. I understand how that works. So is that what created you? Is that what caused the jealousy inside you? Because you wanted to be that person? And that's why you caused the problem that you did? Right? And so I'm basically suffering for what you did? You know, I'm going to tell you right now, Mary, if that's the case, you deserve to be bullied, not me. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Okay? We don't bring God into situations where, don't bring God into situations when you're dealing with your own problems. Okay? Because you assisted in a lot of the chaos that actually got created. That's the damn truth. Okay? All because of you just being jealous and not coming out and saying that. So meanwhile, all these other people took a bullet, whatever, for you. Okay? I can have the hounds of hell chase you too. But you know what? I'm going to wrap up this video is what I'm going to do. And I hope that I will get some things done today and make the best of this Thursday. And I encourage you guys to do the same. Wrapping up this video. Take care. Bye-bye.